Hey, ladies and gentlemen, welcome once again. It is time for the Dark Match. Unfortunately, our friend, the Iron Sheik, has not tweeted in a couple days. Hope you're okay, Sheiky baby. But I have a new segment for you. It's called Hulk Hogan is Fucking Delusional. His latest tweet reads,
new?
Thank you, TNA Maniacs, for the great numbers again this week. Slowly but surely, we're getting bigger. Much love, Hulk Hogan.
Oh, Jesus.
Getting bigger how?
Oh, Hulky, Hulk. I think those painkillers you're taking for your back have finally snapped something in your head.
Well, on that was a depressing note, but we're going to bring it back up here.
Yes.
Once again,
Sorta.
welcome to the Dark Match. My name is No Leaf Clover, and with me on the show today are...
I'm
Mr.
Christopher Says.
Oh, son of a bitch.
All
Alright, go ahead.
I'm Christopher Says.
I'm Mr. War Machine.
And I'm the Revolver Man.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to do something a little bit different this week. Not that much has happened in the... I think TNA, Victory Road, and the subsequent Impact have collectively fried everyone's brains. So, and TNA this week was so bad that it just makes everything else seem meh.
Yeah.
And as we all know, since this is the lead up to WrestleMania, all of WWE stuff has been pretty focused on that, and as such, it's not been bad by any stretch of the imagination, but it's also not been hugely memorable.
Yeah.
And as someone who's as heretical as I am, who thinks The Rock isn't all that big to begin with, it was more of a for me this week.
Blasphemy.
I mean, as kind of meh as the overall shows are, I thought that this was the best build-up episode so far. I don't know if that's like a good thing or a bad thing.
No, I definitely think both shows this week were a lot better than they have been in prior weeks. It's just, when you're in this kind of time, when WrestleMania is coming up, unfortunately, it's a lot harder to talk about the good stuff than it is the negative stuff. Mm-hmm. And that's just kind of a weird fact of life. But yeah, here we are, and we're going to kick it off by talking about what Raw opened with, which was another live via satellite promo from The Rock. The skit...
You know, I have to comment, with all these live from satellite that WWE does, you think they got their own WWE brand one up there, constantly keeping Netflix going?
It's one just for The Rock.
Yeah.
They're like, we have to put one of these in space just for him.
Yeah, the ego is going to strain the bandwidth if we try to split it among the normal broadcasts.
Whoa. Sir, watch it.
Basically what happens is that it's a miniature sketch. He has a kid dressed like John. The point of the segment, I thought it was an okay segment, but again, it's just not the same as The Rock being live. It's a segment all about how The Rock is a kid. I mean, John Cena is a kid, and he's a punk kid, and he has a stupid gimmick, and he has stupid T-shirts, and pretty much all the stuff Rock has already said came through. Yeah, I would say, if you can, search it out on YouTube and watch this segment, because it's actually probably better than we're making it sound. But it was just sort of a meh start to Monday Night frickin' Raw.
It was kind of absurd in a way, because it was a joke. I don't want to compare it to Family Guy, but it was a joke that they basically stretched. Like, the Cena kid comes out, he does all his catchphrases, he tries to rap. Rock tells him, "Oh, you got the age 2 to 5 demographic." He makes the kid admit that he's untalented, and for that gives him a box of Fruity Pebbles.
They're really pushing that Fruity Pebbles. You think Cena's going to be the spokesperson anytime soon?
You think Cena's going to be the sporksman anytime soon?
They're already the spokesperson for that cereal, but still, like a lot of.
Of course, Hogan might sue them if they do that, though.
Yeah. like, definitely a good joke concept, but the way they kind of stretched it out was they kind of it wore out its welcome, I guess. Like, and he goes from there to kind of addressing the Miz, like talking about him disrespecting his family and using his move and saying that there's going to be an ass whooping coming to WrestleMania. That kind of usual fare.
Yeah, it was just a kind of mess segment. But I think I'm starting to begrudgingly kind of not like Cole, but appreciate Cole, because Cole is at ringside, and essentially they have built him a bulletproof chamber around ringside, so Jerry the King Lawler cannot attack him. I was like, you know what? That was pretty fucking clever.
I mean,
I'm waiting for them to steal Russo's Pope mobile for Cole when he comes out to the WrestleMania match.
Oh yeah, but this, I mean, the thing about it is, like, Cole's trying to as hard as he can to put his character over, even though, like, God only knows he probably didn't think of that. But but still, they're doing a good job of building him up as this just like sniveling heel. Like, he's becoming a lot more boisterous than like just him like sitting behind a desk and like bitching at the faces, and it's a good lead up.
Yeah, I will say that I am starting to be sort of not. I don't want to say I like Cole, because I don't, but I'm at least not annoyed by him all the time now.
Oh, believe me, no one's as annoyed by him as you are. So it's probably just peer pressure.
Well, it's good that I like that because it's original. I mean, Bobby Heenan didn't get his own little cell. The King, back when he was a heel, didn't get his own little security cell, but Cole did. I like that originality.
Yeah, that was a nice little thing.
It puts over two things. It puts over that Cole is in fact a massive coward, and two, that Jerry Lawler will in fact kill him if you give him half a chance.
Yeah. Cole's gonna get his at WrestleMania.
Oh, I still think JR's coming back, though some people are saying not. It's been too perfect of a build for JR's return. Because A, Cole on 2 shows is no good at all. God, remember when he was on 3 shows?
Oh God, do not want.
At least NXT, he actually went off his rocker, especially with that gong thing. Bong, 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 bong.
Well, I mean, even then the crowd was still kind of behind him.
Yeah, he wasn't wrong.
They were saying the same exact thing.
Yeah, really, he was very much in support of them.
Well,
or they were in support of.
Well, that should have been ultimate proof that WWE fucked up NXT completely.
We'll get to NXT and the various other canceled television programs that exist in WWE.
But after that, what was after that? I apologize.
The Miz comes out and basically he cuts a promo on The Rock. Again, solid Miz promo. I like what they're doing with Miz now.
I agree with that completely. I really like that he's going kind of psychotic because he was basically forgotten as soon as The Rock showed up.
Yeah.
They're definitely giving him like a kind of mad with power thing, because he's saying that, like, he's like, oh, look at how many times I've taken out John Cena, and like The Rock's not here to say anything in return, so I'm better than both of them.
That was a good point. I like that. And like I said, I've always been so impressed with how far The Miz has come. From botching Diva Search segments and trying to use the big screen or the Titantron as a teleprompter to, well, credible champion. That's quite distance.
Yeah, it really is. Miz has earned his spot in WWE for sure. More so than other guys did when they first came into the company.
Honestly, well, maybe this is just because TNA is the over 60 show now, but WWE's really been very hard getting their young talent over.
Yeah.
Even if there's been a few road bumps. Not going to say who, but he is an O-tard. But seriously, I've been very impressed with the youth movement, as it were, in WWE.
Yeah, definitely. They're doing it the complete other way because they realize that I mean, who do they have that's, a veteran anymore besides Triple H and Undertaker?
Maybe The Rock, but he doesn't really count.
Yeah.
Besides backstage people, I don't know. Maybe if Finley is still doing jobs on, if he was, yeah, I think he was still doing jobs on Superstars before it got canceled.
No, I think he showed up like once in a blue moon to do something on Superstars. Not very often.
Yeah. Like besides those two, and really more for Undertaker, all the old guys are where they belong, in the back.
Yeah.
Not clogging up the frickin' main event.
Oh, it's just reminds me.
But this is a WWE show, and we should be saying that WWE is doing very well right now.
Yeah, definitely.
All right,
They
so
definitely
after The
take the
Miz,
shit right.
excuse me. After The Miz, we get. Oh God, I can't believe I have to go right back to TNA. Snooki.
No. Well, you missed a part.
Oh, I did.
You missed the general manager chimes in. There's actually a really funny bit where Cole starts to get out of his pod after the GM noise goes off, and Lawler stands up, and Cole, of course, because he's a pussy, backs down, and Lawler says that John Cena will take on Alberto Del Rio, and The Miz took on the Great Khali.
Oh, God.
Oh, dear.
Oh, dear God. Okay.
Probably the greatest emotional shift in any match, at least for my reaction, because the GM basically put it like this: The Miz, you will face someone you also have never faced before. And we're thinking, God, who could it be? Who could it be? That his fucking Khali's music starts and everyone's heart sinks.
Yeah.
Now,
just like, oh, no, not The Miz.
Not Khali.
But basically, and the match is as throwaway as any kind of Khali match usually is. Like he's about to subdue Miz, but then Alex Riley, the recently relegated or fired or whatever, Alex Riley interferes, causes DQ, gets Khali bombed, and we're thinking, okay, good, I'm glad to have this match over, very glad. But then the Miz takes a chair and just keeps on hitting Khali in the back over and over and over.
Split his lower back.
He destroys the chair on Khali.
I mean,
he broke the chair on Khali.
If they wanted to make Miz look like a credible heel, they had him destroy Khali in a way that I don't think they've had any heel destroy Khali. There's been a couple guys who have kind of beat up Khali, but never with that kind of.
It's like,
I don't know.
It's like a couple of months ago, we saw CM Punk just hit John Cena with a chair once and get just enough heat to sort of put his new character over. You don't see this a lot, but the fact is, the crowd likes Khali enough so that it's a good kind of heel move for the crowd. But we hate Khali, so as far as I was concerned, my depression just completely abated after that.
Yeah.
You know what? I do like Khali simply because I like the goofiness. But yes, admittedly, he can't wrestle, and I don't know if he can wrestle, but
no.
When it comes to Khali, I always remember one story, and it always makes me laugh. Because, a bit of a history lesson here, guys. Khali, before he came to the WWE, was a police officer. Kind of makes sense. I'd be terrified, freaking a big cop like that.
Oh, good God, yeah.
But, last year, apparently Khali was suspended for not appearing for work. But the thing was, he was already been wrestling for WWE for almost 2.5 years before that happened. Leading to jokes about, did they think the coat rack was Khali or something?
Yeah, you didn't see the longest yard in India, did you?
Did you never see Khali come back to India? Because he did that a lot.
That's the whole reason he's still on the show. Because he gets
apparently in India, the show is edited in such a way to make Khali look like the most over face in the company.
Oh, yeah. I wouldn't put it past him. I mean,
which
but actually,
makes me wish I could get a hold of a copy of Raw shown in India just to see how that's like.
It's funny you mention to go on a much bigger tangent. I just went to South India for the first 3 weeks in January, and there was like a sort of New Year's festival for the culture that we attended a couple of times. There were a bunch of like kids sitting on the balcony, and one person in my group decided to start talking about wrestling. So we were just firing off names. Like we'd say John Cena, and they do the "you can't see me" kind of pose, and it was a lot of fun. Like the least reaction was from Kali, as a matter of fact.
Oh, really?
Oh,
Yeah.
wow. Well,
But that could be Tamil Nadu, South India. Who the hell knows?
Maybe we got little smarks growing in India or something then.
Yeah, maybe.
it had to start somewhere.
Well, they like John Cena, so maybe not. But
Well, we can respect John Cena.
no,
Yeah.
we can respect him. But yeah. Well, moving on.
Yes.
Yeah. After this, that's when. First we get the stupid. Cole says he's gonna expose Jerry Lawler's past, whatever. Then we cut backstage to see John Morrison talking with everybody's favorite fake Italian woman, Snooki, of Jersey Shore fame, folks. If you
Oh, well, I do. I always laugh at Snooki because, as one of my friends pointed out, said she looks like a chocobo. She looks like a chocobo from Final Fantasy. And then when I looked at it, I'm like, oh, good God, you're right!
It's those eyes.
No, because chocobos aren't that ugly.
Oh, that's not right. It's true.
Chocobos are also
still on air.
peaceful creatures.
No Leaf, it's not right that Jersey Shore is still on air. So, you know.
But I will say that if they're going to involve Snooki in the show, they started off by doing it right. Because you know if she had just come out by herself, she would have gotten booed out of the building. But they put her with the heat magnet herself, Vicky Guerrero.
Oh, Jesus.
This is decent back and forth, I gotta say.
Yeah.
I would love to see them try to turn Vicky face just to see what would happen. Just kind of a what if scenario. Like,
What if that would never happen? I don't think she'll ever be a face ever.
But yeah, probably the highlight of that segment beyond like Snooki slapping the shit out of Vicky was Vicky saying that like, oh, Rolling Stone, that's nothing. She was offered Playboy.
Oh, Vicky. We love her.
Brain.
But you know what? Vicky has lost a lot of weight.
Vicky's gone into terrific shape.
She's kind of milfy now for all the talk about how fucking hideous she is. I wouldn't kick her out of bed.
I would because even though she isn't, I don't think she's terribly ugly. That doesn't mean I want to have anything to do with her physically.
I would keep her out of my house because I wouldn't want Eddie haunting me.
That's true.
What do you think you're doing, Revolver Man?
Oh God!
What are you doing with my mamacita? That darkest sketch. That was darkest sketch territory.
Oh,
Yeah, please, let's
that
move
wasn't
on.
dark. We love Eddie.
Please, sir.
So,
Dude, it's nowhere near as dark as when I predicted that that the ghost of Eddie Guerrero was going to win Money in the Bank. I say the same thing every year, and either nobody laughs or everyone just kind of like looks at me like I just killed a kitten.
It's not as bad as I heard one of my friends saying that at WrestleMania after over the limit that Owen Hart was going to return.
Now that's darkest sketch.
Yes, that is.
No, I still think my Japan joke holds up as darkest sketch.
Yeah,
Anyway,
please,
let's get off this tangent before we lose all our listeners.
all six of them.
Next thing up was the WWE United States Championship match between Sheamus and Daniel Bryan. The gimmick going into this match was that if Sheamus lost the match, he would quit. He would leave the WWE. But apparently, he apologized to Kevin Dunn for whatever the fuck it is he did.
He apologized for being a white Irishman. That's what I think Kevin Dunn was mad at for him.
Hey, I'm sorry, fella. I didn't realize you hated Whitey.
Boy, fella. Sorry.
Seriously. Like, it really is a testament to how much Kevin Dunn must have hated this guy to redo the Royal Rumble and to have him win it, to do it in such a way to bury him for winning the Royal Rumble. Not the Royal Rumble, sorry. King of the Ring. King of the Ring. You know, the thing that got Austin over, the thing that got Brett over, the thing that got Triple H over. We set it up so it would bury Sheamus. I mean, that is a testament to hating a motherfucker.
What? You still don't know what he did. I'm shocked that we have not heard a rumor about exactly what it is that he did to Kevin Dunn.
Yeah.
I think that's proof that he did nothing. Kevin Dunn's just a douchebag.
No. See, no. Maybe nothing happened, and they just decided on a different angle. He didn't insult Kevin Dunn, and like the reason why like we're hearing stories that he apologized is just so like the people who reported the other thing in the first place will make up for it.
Well,
like
it may be true. I would agree with that if it wasn't for the fact he jobbed to Evan Bourne.
Yeah.
He does after having his ass beat down by Triple H. Chris Jericho jobbed to Evan Bourne a couple of times, and like.
Well, he did it to put Evan Bourne over. You know?
Yeah. How many times had Sheamus killed Evan Bourne before this alleged heat started? That's my point.
Oh no, yeah, Evan Bourne was pretty much the whipping boy. Like, I remember there was one Raw last year where Sheamus has the mic and he's like, "No, I'd like to explain something," and he just starts beating down on Evan Bourne.
Yeah,
like pins him and then starts talking again. So
exactly, and then suddenly have him job to him like that. He pissed somebody off, and that somebody had to have been Kevin Dunn.
But yeah, about the match.
Whatever happened, it seems to have changed as Daniel Bryan and Sheamus put on a good match, and well, probably is kind of a foregone conclusion unless you hear us talking about the future endeavors. Sheamus won.
Yep.
We got a new U.S. champion, and in terms of the match, like it was a good match, but it kind of reminds me of why I don't like the WWE style of like presentational wrestling. Like I enjoy so much seeing like Bryan Danielson get this kind of opportunity. Like I love seeing him in the ring every time he is. But it's like he does a suicide dive spot. He does the spot where he kicks his opponent like 4 times in the chest and then goes for the head. He does his like really good missile drop kick. He does the spot where he backflips off the top rope.
Yeah, it's very spot oriented.
Yeah, if the pay-per-view is like the only time where they could give him like a little bit of leeway, a little bit of room, then like that's kind of disappointing. But the finish was I thought very credible. Like Bryan had him down, he was about to go up to the top rope, and then Sheamus just bro kicks him on the way down. Really impactful and a good way for the belt to change.
Now, bit of a I should start with my own segment talking about finishers, but. Once again, I gotta praise Sheamus because he has a credible finisher. In my opinion, nothing gets a person over better than a credible finisher. Like, even though a lot of people use this as his finisher, have you ever doubted the power of a super kick or sweet chin music as Shawn Michaels does it?
Nope.
Like,
I mean, it's a kick to the face. You'd think that it'd be hard to screw up a fucking kick to the face. Right, but so many people don't do it the right way.
When it comes to finishers, there's 2 types that I think really get over. Credible ones that actually look like they could, kill a motherfucker. Another good one is CM Punk's GTS, Go to Sleep. Because he's literally just driving his knee into you while he drops you on it for, momentum.
Yeah.
And when it comes to, and my other one is really flashy finishers. Because even though I don't like the man, one of the best finishers has to be the people's elbow.
Yeah, it's completely ridiculous. It's totally stupid, but he got that fucking move way over, and people take it really seriously.
And another one that's really stupid if you think about it, he's not with TNA anymore, unfortunately, but back in the day, was the Canadian Destroyer.
Oh no, that was just stupid. Because it was probably the most spot monkey thing ever. Like it looked fake. Like you
It
know that.
didn't look fake when he did it well. If he did it shitty, yes, but when he did it well,
if he had the right person to do the move on,
if he did it on a guy that was only 150 pounds, it looked good. But if he did try to do it on somebody like Abyss, for example, it would look poor. It was an X Division finisher, but I think it was a very good X Division finisher.
I remember buying SmackDown vs. Raw 2009, and that was the first year they did the creative finisher thing.
Mm-hmm.
And they had the exact setup for the Canadian Destroyer. Like they had the little lock taunt that he did above his head.
Mm-hmm.
They even had like the powerbomb into a pin. It was insane. It was just like someone who developed this game likes TNA.
They definitely had that in mind with I remember they were doing an E3 demonstration of 2011, and Sheamus like is in the corner, so, like someone's about to run at him, and he does an ST Joe, and the developer who was commenting was like, "Oh, this here is a move that many wrestling fans will recognize." I'm not going to say anything more, but
I'm surprised TNA didn't turn that into an angle.
What do you mean they stole my move and put it in a video game?
they put it in that video game, which we can't say the name of. You know what we're talking about?
And then Ric Flair will bring out a video game case and drop an elbow on it.
How dare they? You stupid motherfucker! I don't want you to ever call this number again. If you call this number again, I'm gonna press charges. How dare you? Woo! Woo! Woo!
You perverted, bacon-eating, hockey-watching pig! Perverted pig!
I will chop you!
Speaking for chopping someone.
God, Brett must have muted his mic, because I bet he was laughing his ass off when Flair melted down.
If you listen closely, you can hear Brett laughing.
But, once again, I'm sorry for all the tangents, but, well, that's what the show's all about, apparently. It's really amazing to see where kind of Brett and the people who really hated Brett back in the day have kind of gone.
Yeah.
Because, let's say 3 years ago, Hogan, Flair, they were really on top of the world, basically. And Brett was stewing away. Then out came the Bret Hart DVD, the Hall of Fame thing, and then finally when he returned for real. And now you look at Flair, who's hatchet-jobbing himself, basically.
Well,
And Hogan might be world champion by the end of this year. Wouldn't put it past him.
yeah.
But yeah,
That'll
I
be
agree with
my
that.
day.
we're
On
trying
that
as hard as
depressing note.
yeah. Speaking of depressing, we're trying as hard as we can to avoid the next segment. Like Michael Cole saying, like, "I got something that'll ruin you, Jerry Lawler. I got someone from your past, someone that you know very well." And again, another kind of thing.
Sexy.
Yes.
At least he didn't bring up the 13-year-old.
Ooh.
Oh, I thought you mean the cat.
I want to talk about a darkest sketch.
Oh, the cat! I would have laughed
May
my
as well.
ass off if they found the cat.
But yeah.
Or Mini China, as I kept calling her.
But yeah, another absurd situation where this is supposed to be the serious kind of like emotional moment, and fucking Brian Christopher is doing his whole gimmick, just dancing to the arena to the whole "Turn It Up" song.
He's thinking, well, maybe he was hoping if he dances hard enough, Scotty 2 Hottie was going to appear with Rikishi.
Yeah, make some money.
I loved Too Cool. I didn't think they got the respect they deserved, and turning Rikishi heel was the worst mistake WWE did at that time.
Hey man, they did it for The Rock.
Oh, that would have been more reason to bring Rikishi back to do that thing with The Rock, where Rock kind of just looks at him funny. I did it for you. Rock. Rock just takes off his sunglasses like, yeah, and look where it got you.
Yeah. But
I mean, hell, we
go
have
from
Rikishi up here where I live, and I live in the bumfuck of the mountains in Canada. And Rikishi still had the old outfit on. Didn't look like it had been washed since he left WWE, but okay.
Funny you mention that. Funny you mentioned that not washing, because apparently on Rikishi's U-Shoot, he said that his biggest rib was that if he didn't like someone, he'd use the thong that he never washed. Stink face indeed.
Oh my god, I wonder what poor bastard pissed off Rikishi had to do with stink face spot.
Whew.
But yeah, Brian Christopher comes out, and am I the only one who thought he looked like a thin Dusty for a second there?
Dude, I thought he looked like a fat Mr. Kennedy.
Oh god.
You're totally right. That's the funnier part.
Okay, that's way better than what I thought. At least he didn't have him calling everybody an asshole. That wasn't funny, though.
Oh my god, no. It wouldn't have been funny. Because I'll let it go. Let's move on. I almost had a nervous breakdown again. Let's just...
Alright. But yes, Brian Christopher, a.k.a. Grandmaster Sexy, and if you don't know, I don't know why you wouldn't, is Jerry Lawler's son. And I think this might be the first time they've ever explicitly stated that on the air.
Yeah, that's, I guess, why it was supposed to be a big deal. They've never come out and said it, but yeah, everyone knows it.
They actually hinted at it, and that's actually one of the funnier parts of this promo. From what I hear, I think it was someone on the forum said that, like, oh, when Too Cool, like, or whatever, when they debuted on Raw, like, Jerry Lawler actually went, "That's my boy."
Oh.
Which not, like, referring to that afterwards, but... But what's so funny about that is that Brian Christopher basically says, you, like, never acknowledged me as your son. Like, I basically never had a father. But how does it feel that I was at WrestleMania before you were even able to?
Ooh.
Whatever.
And,
of course, it's so weird that he gets all heavy when not 2 minutes ago he was dancing like Too Cool.
If he had just come out serious, this segment would have been better-ish, but it was just a really...
doing dancing and then, you never loved me, Daddy, was such a tonal shift.
Yeah.
And of course, because, like, he's a heel, even though they're only introducing him for a one-off, Lawler says, well, you know what? You're a disgrace for a son. I didn't acknowledge you because I didn't want to acknowledge you, and you're a bigger screw-up than Charlie Sheen.
Ooh. Good God. I didn't watch that, so I didn't know what King's response was, but I think a piece of my soul died right there.
And
God, I mean, why don't you...
Our hero, ladies and gentlemen,
seriously,
what's the word? Not revoking, or whatever, forsaking his son.
Oh,
that's our hero, ladies and gentlemen. Good on you, King.
I mean,
rebuking. That's the word, rebuking.
No, disowning is what you're thinking of.
Oh, okay.
That's going to be a really awkward edit.
Oh, CMG, we make you work so hard.
At any rate, like we said, this was just a really weird segment. It was okay for what it was, but moving on. JR comes back. No, I almost forgot.
Yeah.
Well, do we want to talk about JR? Basically, JR comes back. He tells...
Please, yeah.
JR comes back. He tells Michael Cole to basically stop being a douche. And they fake like they're going to fight. Then Jack Swagger comes out. He puts... he basically fucks up fucking... I don't know what the fuck I'm saying anymore.
JR's leg or ankle or something.
Yeah, he fucks up JR's leg, then Cole puts fucking King in the ankle lock, then he puts JR in the ankle lock.
And when Cole put JR in the ankle lock, that was maybe the worst ankle lock I've ever seen in my life.
Definitely.
And you know what?
And yet,
JR sold it, yet oversold it at the same time.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, I could tell that he was just trying to get Cole over. But when he shouted out, "Good God Almighty,"
Yeah.
Like, come on, JR. You didn't have to say that.
it would be like walking into Don King's room and just hearing him snore only in America. I mean, it's overdoing it a little bit.
Just a scotch. But yeah, that was that segment. Again, we're talking about it kind of glibly, but it probably comes off better when you actually. A lot of the stuff that's happened on Raw lately probably comes off better if you actually watch it.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. I'd say that's a safe statement to make, mainly because while it's better watching it, it's not very memorable. Like
That's just it. This Raw in a nutshell. It's not memorable.
It's filler leading up to WrestleMania. We're all watching really bad episodes of Power Rangers right now. That's what we're watching. Like, we're just watching filler until WrestleMania.
Yeah, pretty much. I like Power Rangers, though.
So do I.
So do I. But, Power Rangers...
Filler episodes. No denying that. But now, for God's sake, Randy Orton segment or match or whatever the fuck you want to call it.
It was a match.
Yes, it's a match. It's not a very good match at all. But
I don't care. It's Randy Orton. My interest.
But yeah,
you crapped your pants.
Randy Orton's so bad he makes me shit myself.
the only good thing about this was the end of it, where they just to build up to sort of get like a face-to-face confrontation between CM Punk and Randy Orton a little. But nonetheless, this match pissed me the fuck off. Like, it's basically Mason Ryan powering him down for like 4 minutes, RKO, finish.
Yeah.
Like,
It sucked. To say the least, it sucked. Like, I'd say let's move on.
DDP called. He said you do his finisher shitty, Randy.
and you see, for a number of reasons, this is really stupid. Number one, it portrays Orton as overly strong. Number two, if CM Punk has to rely on these guys, then what fucking chance does he have if like Randy Orton can just snap and like take out the big man after being severely injured? Same goes with David Otunga last week.
Well, it's just like not Randy Orton. CM Punk had this exact same problem back when he was doing the Straight Edge Society gimmick, when Big Show would devastate everybody. And then it would look like he had no chance. And, well, he had no chance. The match was over in like 4 minutes.
I mean, I think Orton's presence, like credibility and presence, is a lot better in this feud. But like with all that, you gotta wonder about. I love the promos that Punk has been cutting, like, and the actual like physical body language confrontations they've had between the two. Good. But like another thing that the problematic with this is that, like, Orton's taking out the Nexus one by one. How easy is this for him when Cena just couldn't do it? Like, it took him months.
That's another thing I want to mention about Orton. Orton has to bury other people to get himself over. Not him doing it like behind the scenes or politics or anything, but they've basically thrown the new Nexus completely under the bus just so Randy Orton looks strong. And that's the only way they can do it, because he's such, in my opinion, he's completely incredible.
Yeah, I kind of see your point. It doesn't make him look good, to say the very least. You know?
Yeah, yeah. I have to agree.
But yeah, like after the match, like we have a punt tease, and Punk tries to run as fast as he can into the ring, but he's too late as Orton punts Mason Ryan and
back
we
to
have
FCW.
Yeah, we have CM Punk sliding in the ring and looking.
All Orton needs to do is get a casket, post back to FCW like the DX did back in the day, and throw it out into the trash.
Ship to Ohio.
No, ship to Florida.
Yeah.
No, it was shipped to Ohio. That's when they were still using OVW.
Right, I'm just saying that now.
It'd be shipped to Florida now.
Yeah, it's shipped to Florida now.
Okay, my bad. Don't get me because you hate Orton.
I apologize. Randy Orton is making me lash out.
Okay. let's cut this Ortard crap here.
All right. Let's see here. After all that.
After that, we get Drew Carey's Hall of Fame video package.
Oh my goodness gracious!
Oh yes, and Raven rejoices.
You know, I'll be perfectly honest. He does have a small claim that he deserves to be in the Hall of Fame, in that he was the first celebrity in the Royal Rumble. I'll give him that. But honestly, if you've only been on WWE TV once, and it wasn't even on free TV, your case is weak.
Yeah.
Very.
Especially when the extent of his action was eliminating himself when Kane scared him.
It was just. I mean, I'm not.
But hey, at least he has more credibility than Pete Rose.
Hello.
Tish. Well, no, Pete Rose showed up far more times than he did.
Yeah, but Pete Rose only got beat up, ironically again, by Kane. Wait.
Well, at least he actually showed up and did stuff. He got tombstone and chokeslammed.
True enough.
I mean, it's not that big a deal, but still, I'm just saying. You know, Pete Rose kind of earned his way in. Kinda. At any rate, we get Cole talking about some stupid bullshit, and then we get Snooki comes out for her little moment in the sun.
I'd actually like to take this time to put over the segment they had before that with where Snooki and Trish are walking ringside, and Zack Ryder comes up and he says, "Hey Snooks, how do you like this situation?" Points to his abs, and she compliments him. Zack Ryder, for the past few weeks, has been doing his own YouTube show called Z True Long Island Story. It's really funny, like, and especially for Smarks, like that. There's this great joke in the beginning of episode 4, and he's like, "You know what? I figured out the reason why we're all so unemployed, why there's so much unemployment. It's because Zack Ryder's doing all the jobs."
That is awesome, Ryder. That is awesome. Cause he's. Yeah.
Oh, Ryder. Wow, you got a good wit there. I have to compliment him on that.
Have any of you guys read Jericho's book, out of curiosity?
First one or second one?
Second one.
I haven't gotten the second one yet.
Zack Ryder actually wrote a foreword for Jericho's book.
He did?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. Like, he explained how Jericho was his favorite wrestler as a kid, and he waited in line for like 4 hours or something just to get his WCW action figure, and it was pretty cool.
Went to Hogan somehow.
Yeah. I don't know how that works, but yeah, he basically talked about how Jericho made him want to get into the wrestling business.
Oh, that's very cool.
Yeah.
We like Zack. We are Zack Ryder fans around here.
Yes, we are. Because once again, I have to bash on TNA, but WWE shows that they know how to do a parody at least.
Yeah.
Like, look at Zack Ryder compared to Robbie E. and Cookie.
He doesn't.
I mean...
So moving on to the next match.
Yes, let's do that.
It was Vicky versus Trish. No DQ match. There's not really a whole lot to talk about in terms of what happens in this match. Yeah, basically, the big thing is Lay Cole comes out to help Vicky beat up Trish, and then after Vicky pins Trish, Michelle McCool goes out and picks on Snooki.
Wait, hold on. Let me stop you really quick. After they pinned Vicky, they started taking pictures on her. And at one point, like, because of the angle the cameraman was at, you can see straight down Layla's shirt.
Can? Why did no one tell me this?
Oh, dude, you can see straight down her shirt. It was pretty funny. And you can tell that Vince noticed really quick, too. He was like, crap, cut.
We're
It
done.
was there
Oh.
for maybe less than a nanosecond.
There goes the PG rating.
Oh yeah, well that rating went a little while ago.
Yeah. But then after that, basically Snooki they managed to turn Snooki face. And this, again, we're gonna have to rag on TNA. This is a perfect example of what you do with a celebrity, how you use them, how you make them faces to a crowd that has no reason to cheer for them. They bought in JWoww. No one fucking likes JWoww. No one on the show likes JWoww. She's not even the biggest goddamn star in the show. Paid her $15,000 to go. I don't like Becky Bayless, but they paid her $15,000 to go out and squash one of the wrestlers. And then they paid an even less famous person from the Jersey Shore about the same money to go out, pilled up, and wrestle for 5 minutes, not knowing what she's doing. She couldn't even take a roll up in the ring.
That sounds familiar.
Fucking
No.
The guy's name is Hef Jardy or something.
Yeah, let's just pretend that you
Yes,
never.
yes, you will be if you want to know more about that. Check our other shows. This is WWE. This is
me and War Machine. No, we went off. We went off.
Oh my! You see, Revolver Man, you weren't there yesterday, so you didn't get to hear TNA break my sanity.
Oh, I cannot.
He was laying on the floor. He was laying
And even beyond that, we have our 5-hour special where we talk about the incident itself in great detail. We don't want it to invade our WWE talk.
Yeah, so let's move on from that. We get another very cool Sin Cara promo. We hope he debuts soon, and we get another fucking video with Shawn Michaels talking about fucking Triple H and The Undertaker. We don't care. We don't care.
Kicking it with the click.
Anyway,
You know, I'm curious. When it comes to the Undertaker Triple H match, I wonder if they're going to have that same ref who one punch the ref was down for 23 minutes.
Or maybe they'll just get the fan plant from TNA to kick the ref's ass.
All
right.
After that, we got Alberto Del Rio versus John Cena.
You okay over there? Can you pronounce it?
Yeah, barely, apparently. But Del Rio versus John Cena was it was a good little match. It wasn't excellent, but it was a good little match. There's not a whole lot to really talk about it except for what happens after it.
Oh yeah, because that was hysterical.
Yeah, it's Del Rey and Clay are basically beating Del Rio and Brodus Clay, are beating down. God, I can't talk. Del Rio.
You want me to take this for you?
Yes, please do.
Okay. So Del Rio and Brodus Clay start whooping ass on Cena when the ref takes a bump, and then all of a sudden Michael Cole starts freaking out. He's like, "Oh my God, The Rock's here! The Rock's here! The Rock's here!" He sounds like Mike Tenay when Hulk Hogan first came out. And so it cuts to commercial. We cut back. Del Rio and Brodus Clay are still beating the crap out of Cena, and Rock's music hits. And they start off at this really far away shot, and it kind of looks like The Rock. And it's just like, wow, why didn't he just cut his promo earlier in the ring? And then it goes in, and you realize that it's The Miz dressed up like The Rock in a bald cap,
and a fake tan.
wearing the Rock's sunglasses, fake tan and all, and it was hysterical. Like he does the slow walk to the ring, he does a really crappy people's eyebrow, and he gets in there and he just starts laying waste to Cena. He does a Miz bottom at one point.
That sounds dirty.
Speaking of Mrs. Bottoms, hello.
Oh.
But Tish.
And never mind. I'll save that for after we're done with this. I mean, The Miz must have been marking. Like, we talked about him marking last week for him doing the people's elbow and stuff like that, but there has to be a certain amount of, I get to do what?
Wait.
Yeah.
I get to kind of, are you guys serious? Are you bullshitting me? I really get to do shit.
Is this a rib? Where's JBL? Come on out.
But he comes out, he does the rock bottom, and then he just beats again. They have been doing a very, very good job of making The Miz look like a convincing heel. After ignoring him for so long, they're doing a really good job of making him look like a convincing heel.
So,
I have to say, sorry to interrupt you, but I'm starting to think maybe they kind of planned Miz to be ignored to really give him the impetus for this really big heel rush he's doing recently.
Yeah.
Because since Miz has been champion, when did he win the belt again?
he won it at, he won it on Raw after Survivor Series.
After Survivor Series. So since then...
Wow, he's held on to the title for a long time.
Yeah, really.
Yeah, I expected him to job almost immediately, and he didn't, so that's another plus in his record. But he really hasn't been in the main event, so to speak. It's still mostly been Cena, and, well, back then it was dealing with the Nexus, now it's him and The Rock.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And, you know, I think with how much Miz has improved, I don't doubt that... I think it's a possibility now that he could retain against Cena. Like, because... Or at least make... hear me out. And if he doesn't retain against Cena, it's not going to be a complete squash.
Oh, it's not going to be that. I
think what'll happen is that The Rock's going to come out, and him and Cena will do their thing, but then, like, The Miz is going to try to take advantage of the situation, and he's going to try to hit Cena with the belt or something, and The Rock's going to give him a rock bottom, and then, like, The Rock will count the pin or something, raise Cena's hand, torch will be passed, whatever. Not exactly how I wished it would have gone, but, you know.
I have to say, I am leaning towards Miz retaining simply because Rock is signed for after WrestleMania, and it looks like they're building something with Cena. And to put the belt in that would be pointless, and I don't think WWE's that stupid.
Well, I mean, if anything, and what I'm really hoping, and this may just be, I may just be too much of an optimist, but what I'm really hoping is that somehow Vince worked his voodoo magic on The Rock and convinced him to have at least one match with Cena, or something small where at least they brawl or something. And, you know, that's what I'm hoping they lead up to after WrestleMania. Like, just something small where The Rock and Cena have a small confrontation. Physical confrontation.
I would like that, but I don't
see it happen.
So split, because if they were able to swing that, you'd think they'd do that at WrestleMania.
Well, I never said that the WWE was smart. I just said that that's what I hope they do. Because if they're not going to do it at WrestleMania, then they need to do it at some point. Mm-hmm. Like, that is what I want to see.
So, that was Raw. Pretty good Raw. Again, just not... It wasn't bad, it was just kind of... It's just such a transitional show. You know, that's been the quote-unquote problem with the WrestleMania shows, is that you can't really do anything. You have to say everything for the pay-per-view, so it kind of limits what you can and can't do in terms of the show.
Yeah. But either way, it's Friday night, and it's 8 o'clock. Do you know who your enemy is? I messed that one up. Oh, well.
Oh, well.
Oh, God, you son of a bitch. I hate that song so much. I hate Green Day. Okay, I don't understand. I never got the hype behind Green Day. I listened to their earlier punk stuff, and, I thought it was okay. I didn't think it was the greatest, but I understood why some people could think that they were an awesome band. And, and the fact that they were still relevant means they have to still make similar music, right? Right? Wrong!
Let's not turn this into a rant about Green Day, because
let's turn this into a rant about Green Day. Because I've had to listen to their crap on my wrestling show for months on end, and I've had it. I've had it with these monkey fighting snakes on this Monday to Friday plane. I'm going to fight someone about this. You need to find me the lead singer of Green Day. I'm going to lay the smackdown on him.
You're going to lay the smackdown on him and his skinny jeans.
I don't care. I don't care if it comes off me picking on somebody. If he can't defend himself against me of all people, he's got an issue. I can't fight to save my life, let alone try to challenge a famous rock star to one.
I raise a drink to that rant, you guys.
So on that note, SmackDown opens up. I have to be full disclosure, folks. We were all in the chat together, and we were not paying that much attention to SmackDown.
No,
yeah, we were.
We were mostly talking about music, and me personally was really engrossed in Civ 5. I apologize.
Yeah. I think we spent 30 minutes completely ignoring the show and just talking about Metallica.
Yeah.
I didn't even watch the show. So,
I think that's a good comment on how the fact that they basically turned SmackDown almost into the Raw recap show featuring Edge.
Yeah.
So speaking of Edge, though.
Yeah.
That's the first match. Him versus Brodus Clay, where it's as expected, the advantage that Clay has is that Alberto Del Rio is at ringside, he distracts Edge, and Brodus Clay has his power. But eventually Christian becomes the equalizer. He takes out Alberto. It allows Edge to eventually hit the spear and get the pin. Match over.
Yay.
After that, again, there's nothing to talk about on the show. After that, it was Kofi Kingston versus Sheamus, and Sheamus wins. Okay match, just nothing to write home about.
There was a weird spot where Kofi does his SOS, the run high, and Sheamus is holding onto one of the ropes.
Oh yeah,
I don't know if that was supposed to happen.
Yeah, that looked like a pretty nasty bump.
Having my stuff.
And then after that, we get a segment with Big Show and Kane trying to chokeslam one another. Whatever.
It's weird. It's like a couple of 12-year-olds playing a game of Chinese arm wrestling. Or if no one knows what that is, it's where you hold your palms into each other's and you slap the back of each other's hand.
Yeah.
Yeah, but unfortunately most people know that for the Steven Seagal movie, was it Fire Down Below or On Deadly Ground? The one where he's an Indian fighting the Big Oil.
That's On Deadly Ground.
On Deadly Ground, thank you. Now that's a movie we should be talking about.
After this, we get Dashing Cody Rhodes. They changed his music.
They turned Taz of all people.
Whoa, you're always smoking mirrors.
It's not always smoking mirrors.
Whatever. Shut up.
It doesn't make any sense. How could you smoke a mirror?
I hate you. Just let me sing my song.
Dashing Rhodes beats Trent Beretta in a squash.
Wait, Trent? Who?
He was one part of that other fucking band. That one thing that had happened. Yeah, he was part of that.
I know who he is. I just don't care about him, and WWE doesn't care about him, and he just played a jobber role. So
yeah, that's all he does. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Make Trent Beretta go away. Wasn't he in a tag team with someone?
They fired his tag team partner.
Kalen Kraft.
Okay, screw it. So What happened next? Something not memorable and really not important. We don't care.
It
We just want to watch.
was Layla versus Kelly Kelly. Nothing exciting or important happened in the match.
Except Layla's boobs, but, See, the problem is, they didn't package... Let me rephrase that. Kelly Kelly sucks. She has her moments, and she can be good if she can be bothered to be good, but when she can't be bothered to be good, she isn't good. She isn't Alicia Fox bad, but she's bad.
Yeah. She's pretty bad. Yeah. Again, nothing noteworthy happens here. We have Justin Gabriel and Heath Slater versus Big Show and Kane for the Tag Team Championship. Big Show and Kane win via disqualification. I do like the fact that after this match, they really did make the core look pretty dominant. They basically spent, a good 5 minutes just beating the fuck out of Kane and Big Show. So that was a good point, but again, that was the only really noteworthy thing that happened. We got Jack Swagger versus Chris Masters. This match wasn't very long. It was basically just Swagger squashing Masters, so Cole could come out of his, I guess they're calling it the coal mine. He could come out of his little glass box and put the ankle lock on Masters. Oh, how the mighty have fallen. When you're jobbing to Cole and you're a legitimate wrestler.
Just going back, apparently most people I know just call it the penalty box.
What is this, TNA?
Yeah. The crazy thing, not only is Masters a legitimate wrestler, but the fucker's big. He looks like he would rape you if he wasn't a face.
Yeah, exactly. It's just, whatever.
Masters, ever since Triple H buried him.
Yeah, he is. Well, I don't even know why they bought him back, really.
Well, at least he's making money now.
That's true. But after that, we have Rey Mysterio beat Ted DiBiase. This was a good little match for what it was. This wasn't a bad match. It just wasn't a lot. It was just there. It wasn't good. It wasn't bad. It was just there.
Well, you know why it was just there? Because of fucking Ted DiBiase, who's inexplicably on SmackDown now, and there's no reason to be there. And it was, God, he's like so useless. I just made a redundancy talking about him. But you did gloss over Chris Jericho's triumphant return.
Oh yeah,
in a video package advertising about how he's going to be on Dancing with the Stars.
I do want to say that we wish Chris the best of luck in Dancing with the Stars. We need him to represent for all the wrestling fans, just like Stacy did. Unfortunately,
he won't be fired for being on there, though.
Yeah,
oh, no.
That's that part.
But Chris, we appreciate you. We wish you good luck with that show, but don't fucking troll us like that again, you motherfucker. You're my favorite wrestler. Don't fucking troll us.
So after that, we get Christian versus Alberto Del Rio in a steel cage match. This was actually a really, really good match. This actually got me to stop just like, I think I was, at this point in the show, I'm pretty sure I was talking about Jason Newsted. But this actually got me to kind of stop and pay a little bit of attention. And very good match, but again, it was just sort of there. That's what I feel like SmackDown was about. I know it seems like we're glossing over a lot. But there was some good wrestling. There was some not good wrestling. It just wasn't a show that's really worth spending a whole lot of time talking about.
Once again, not only is WWE flying straight to WrestleMania, so they're in a holding pattern, SmackDown itself is basically just being used to recap Raw most of the time.
And I will say that there weren't too many fucking recaps of Raw on the show.
Actually.
They
recapped Snooki. They recap. They do another Shawn Michaels segment. Damn it.
Well, that shows how much I was
They
paying
recap
attention.
JR.
That shows how much I was paying attention. But, so after
We're
that...
just so professional, aren't we, listeners?
Yeah, really, we're just... We are the pinnacle of professionalism around these parts. But, so, since we kind of flew through the Raw and SmackDown recaps, we're going to talk about a little bit of what's going on in the wrestling world, a little bit of wrestling news. Ladies and gentlemen, I regret to inform you that WWE Superstars, the show that probably had the best wrestling on a weekly basis, is being...
Or at least the most.
Yeah. Is being canceled by WGN America. I'm going to let you take this, Revolver Man.
Much like when SmackDown had to move from MyNetwork.tv or whatever the hell that stupid thing was called, what in the blue hell does WGN have besides Superstars?
Becker?
Yeah, they got an over-the-hill Ted Danson. Oh, that's gonna put butts in the seats.
Bulls gangs? I think they have the Steve Wilkos show.
Oh, you mean frickin'? It's the show that makes Jerry Springer look classy. At least Jerry Springer never talks about on a regular basis child rape. But seriously, once again, it comes down to the fact that if you look, both these shows tend to be very high or the highest in ratings of their networks. The problem is it doesn't transfer over, and they always blame it that, well, wrestling fans don't want to watch other shows. No, we don't want to watch your crappy sitcoms from 1992 that we've seen 1,000 times, that we have channels dedicated to. You know what? I bet I could find 3 Fresh Prince of Bel-fucking-Air channels on cable and 6 on satellite. I don't need you to show more of them.
Yeah.
To be fair,
Go ahead.
To be fair, Fresh Prince of Bel-Air is awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. But that's not really what bugs me. What bugs me is that, the WWE needs shows like Superstars. They needed a show like ECW, because it gives these guys who, honestly, most of the guys who are on Superstars are pretty talented. They have talent, they have ability, and they just need a place to showcase it. But unfortunately for them, there's no place to do it because there aren't enough. Even with all the shows they have, there's just not enough time to put all these guys in there. So basically what you have all these young guys who, once again, are going to be without a place to kind of learn and apply their craft. They have really just good wrestling matches. The matches on Superstars are probably some of the best you will see on WWE television on a weekly basis.
Without it being a pay-per-view.
Right.
Yeah, they definitely need a new Velocity or Heat, or come up with something, call like a show Winning or something. Who the hell knows?
Well, that's why I always thought it was foolish for them to kill ECW, because ECW was a great launching platform. Like, okay, maybe they shouldn't have called it ECW. That was probably its biggest mistake.
Yeah.
If they'd actually just went and called it OVW, I believe
or FC or something, or just like, yeah, you know what you should do? Why not name it WCW? I'm being serious. I
agree with that. First of all, WCW isn't going to come with. Well, actually, the expectations are it's going to be absolute shit. So when it's not shit, people are surprised.
Yeah, exactly. Name it.
Well, I've heard rumors that they're going to actually make a WCW show.
Are you fucking kidding me?
Really?
Just rumors.
You know why?
Rumors, but
Why is that?
Because Vince could do it better than Bischoff and Hogan and Russo. He's gonna show him.
Oh God, could you imagine if he brought back Nitro, put it on Thursdays, and had it crush Impact?
No,
not Nitro. I'm sorry, not Nitro. He brought back Thunder and it killed
Yes, oh my God, that'd be hilarious.
That'd be epic. We should petition the WWE to do that, just because we would be laughing so hard.
God, that would be the greatest dark match ever. Recapping Thunder and how it destroyed Impact.
But seriously, why didn't they do that with fucking ECW? And that's a legitimate point. That's what they should have done with that show. They need a show like that. So guys like Zack Ryder, guys like Trent Beretta, all those guys have a place to wrestle and actually be exposed to the world. Because what's Zack Ryder going to do now? Job on SmackDown.
Well, motherfucker, what they should do is they should give FCW its own. They should make FCW a higher priority and actually try to get it signed for a channel.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, even that.
Yeah. Besides the WCW idea, which I love, why aren't they trying to get their developmentals on TV? Do you know how much more efficient it would be if they could bring a guy on Raw and he's already been fucking established?
Exactly.
Without having, because, half the time guys fail on Raw is because they don't let them establish themselves, because on Raw it's not a dig at the WWE, but they just have too much shit going on to do that.
Usos.
Oh yeah, I forgot about the Usos, who also are pretty much going to. Good luck in your future endeavors, kids.
Yeah, maybe you could do something for The Rock.
But who knows?
But honestly, on a more serious note, what I want to see happen is for ROH to get a new TV deal with a channel that I could actually have.
Oh yes.
So that we could start reviewing that stuff, because I want to keep up with it. I just went to a show today, and while the wrestling was a lot of fun, and the entire thing was a lot of fun, some of it I had no context for. So I want to add an ROH segment to this, but if there's no regular basis by which we could do that, no.
I used to actually get ROH.
What was that?
I used to get ROH when it was on TV.
Yeah, well, you actually had HDNet, which pretty much no one fucking has.
That's why
all they do is show movies, and really good movies at that.
Like I said, that's why I've always said that I think it's best for ROH to get away from HDNet, because they weren't being helped by them.
Yeah.
But I'm just trying to think, unfortunately, WWE wrestling does not have a good reputation, and most channels won't want to touch it anymore. WWE gets a pass simply because they put on the best show and it's very theatrical. For some reason, Spike likes TNA, and TNA has that oil money. But for, OVW, Ring of Honor, FCW, where can they honestly go to a channel that actually give them real exposure?
Who knows, man? I wish ROH was on TV every week.
So do I. I wish I could watch wrestling that I could enjoy for being good, rather than enjoy for being how much I'm going to rip it apart later that day.
Oh, but here's some breaking news here, folks. Breaking news for you. Online rumors report that backstage morale in TNA is at an all-time low.
Really? No.
No. How low can you go? At this point, they're going to pop out in China.
I would hate to be in TNA right now. I really would. And that's the other part about not... when we're on the forums a lot, people say, I just can't wait for this company to die. I don't want TNA to die. TNA dying does nothing to help the wrestling business as a whole. Does it?
You know what? I'm going to be the first to say, I do want TNA to die, because the way they treat their talent, the way they pay them, and the way they get them under. they just don't deserve to be around. Now, if they could like do a massive improvement, my mind would change. But considering that they're not sailing into the iceberg, they're digging into it.
But wrestling as a whole doesn't get any better by TNA not being there. If TNA dies, then what you have is dozens of wrestlers who you're gonna flood the independent scene. So a lot of the young up and coming indie stars, they're not gonna have a place to work because it's gonna be they're not gonna have a place to work. The guys that are in TNA now, the lower card guys, they're not going to have any place to be, no place to work. There has to be more than one major wrestling company. I'm not saying...
I agree wholeheartedly with that. Don't get me wrong. The thing is, TNA is not it. It is simply not it. It's a freaking vanity promotion that's only on TV because of dat oil money.
Yeah.
That's it.
That is
maybe
like
the most accurate. Say, well, these wrestlers won't have jobs. You know what? $200 for doing a show when you get nothing else, all you have to cover all your expenses, that's not a job. That's slavery.
Yeah. And I understand what you're saying. I think as a whole, wrestling would be a lot worse off if TNA wasn't there. If it's not there, then we don't get. There are guys in TNA that aren't going to get rehired by the WWE. I don't think Joe would go to the WWE.
No.
I think honestly, when it comes to Joe, I think he'd have a shot, a very slim shot, but if he showed he could go the same way he could go in 2005, then he would have a shot. But his current work right now isn't showing that he's any good. I honestly think if I had to choose 5 guys in TNA that if it closed down or if they left could go to WWE, it would be in this order. AJ Styles, Fear Money, both of them. Matt Morgan, because Vince just loves the idea of big guys. Speaking of big guys. Hey-o. And Matt Morgan and Samoa Joe.
I would have to... I agree with 3 of those. I don't think AJ is just too old, and he's too X Division-y for Vince.
Yeah.
Old? He's 30!
Yeah, and Vince doesn't like to hire people. He likes to get them young, if I want to use a disturbing term. He likes to hire his talent young so they can be built up to the WWE style at the beginning.
Yeah.
Unless they've proven themselves really big, like CM Punk did, he generally doesn't look at those who are already veterans. Although that might be just because Johnny Ace is a dumbass, and if Vince got back talent division to him or somebody with talent, put somebody with talent in the talent division, they might be more interested in those other guys. So I could be talking out my ass here.
To call back on CM Punk, I hate to say this, but I think one of the very last acts that Paul Heyman did while he was in the company was persuade the fuck out of Vince to look into CM Punk. Mm-hmm. Like, it was his doing. He was like, this guy will fucking get over.
Yeah, that was all Paulie. Paulie asked for Punk to be on ECW. Paulie wanted to put the ECW championship at December to Dismember. He wanted to put the ECW championship on either RVD or
Punk. RVD was never going to get it again because, unfortunately, RVD, you kind of proved yourself unreliable there.
Yeah.
They gave you the ball and you tried to smoke it.
That's a good way.
Then we got Lashley, and that's a whole other show right there.
No, I think we can barely discuss Lashley right now. The problem with Lashley
is that you're a bastard.
Yeah, exactly.
Is that he was another one of those... You see the difference between Bobby Lashley and Matt Morgan is that Matt Morgan isn't a bad wrestler.
Not a
And
bad talker either.
well,
He's average, but
he's average. When it comes to talking, he's average. But
I disagree. I think he's like incredibly savvy and comfortable on it. Like,
well, okay, maybe above average, but I just don't buy some of the stuff he says. Maybe I just haven't seen enough of Morgan, but still, I don't really buy.
I will say that guys like Morgan usually need a script, and nobody likes scripted wrestling, but sometimes there are always going to be those guys who legitimately need a script to succeed. And Morgan's one of those guys who,
as long as the script is not calling him for to stutter, I think he'll do well with the script.
yeah.
But
go ahead,
Lashley wasn't all that talented. They tried to bill him like he was talented, but that's because they stuck him in matches with people who could carry sacks of crap to the ring and broomsticks and have the greatest three-way match of all time. I mean, you know,
The thing is,
I think he got exposed in his matches with Vince. Like, I think that's when Lashley was exposed as a fluke.
when it comes to Lashley, the big problem I had with Lashley was they were trying to make him the second Brock Lesnar or the second Goldberg, basically.
Yeah,
and that's where the term comes from, Chalk Lesnar or Blackbird. And he doesn't have that presence. Goldberg has a presence. Lesnar had a presence. Lashley, he looked like a baby put in a muscle man outfit. His face just did not scream menacing. Lesnar's face screams menacing. Goldberg's face screams menacing. Lashley's face screams youth or baby.
He definitely looked like a man-child.
Yes,
exactly.
exactly.
Like
sounded like one too.
You see, my big problem with Lashley was that he was boning Crystal. So, you know,
bastard.
Automatically, me and him are at odds with each other.
Yeah.
But, I mean, do you remember when they were going to have Crystal, like, have an affair with Edge?
Yeah, and then she backed out of it because, you know.
And then she quit the company over it because she didn't want to be like Lita.
And,
I can't say that her logic is faulty.
No. But you see, the difference is there was actual heat behind that. You know, that was real life that was being portrayed on the screen. Like that situation actually happened, which is why a lot more people were mad about it. But I don't think she has grounds there. And besides, this was, a few years? She left, like, the month after Lita came back and got, like, a huge pop at the Raw 15th anniversary thing. Mm-hmm. And so she says, well, I didn't want to end up like Lita. And it's just like, well, clearly we've shown that we've gotten over Lita.
Yeah,
and maybe she was afraid that if she was like Lita, Matt Hardy would start stalking her again.
Matt, you're creepy.
Yes.
Matt used to be one of my favorite wrestlers. And,
I feel like we've gone on like 5 different tangents now.
Well, I mean, do we really have anything else to talk about?
No, we don't. Like, we discussed the shows, we discussed how dumb networks are when it comes to dealing with wrestling shows.
I mean, it would have been a really short show, and I don't feel it was necessary to have that short of a show because we felt lazy. So, but anyways.
Hey, we worked through that laziness.
I can't disagree.
Yeah. I was just saying.
And,
I wasn't like, oh, we're not staying on topic. I was just saying I thought it was funny.
Oh, okay. Then I kind of jumped down your throat there. My bad. But anyways,
you have so much work for you this week.
Not really. He could probably release this unedited, and it wouldn't be too bad of a show. But whatever. I just didn't like Bobby Lashley's character. I thought when they did the Cena versus Lashley matches, they both looked really good, but that's because I I can't say that was a match everyone wanted to see, but that was definitely a pretty cool match to see.
Mm-hmm.
Because, I mean, it was like two Supermen going to battle. I mean, the true Superman came out on top, as always. Speaking of coming out on top. Hey-oh! And, but, you know, there's not much else to I mean, Lashley has had a really successful MMA career since then. I remember one time I watched a video of him in a match with this guy where he choked this guy out in 44 seconds. No, not 44, 24 seconds.
Not bad.
Yeah. He like, what I remember is like he punched the guy in the face and the guy kind of like stumbled backwards and charged him and tried to tackle him, but Lashley like got his footing and like just essentially wrapped his arm around his neck and just started squeezing his bicep. So like imagine someone trying to tackle you and you just like kind of putting them in a front face lock sort of thing.
Mm-hmm. I've seen that actually done before.
Mm-hmm. And like he just like put the guy on the ground and just held him there. And the match clock is still going and it's counting. It goes 23, 24, and the guy just starts tapping. It was just kind of like, whoa. And that's why I don't like watching MMA. It's too unpredictable. At least I know there isn't going to be a 24-second... Well, I don't know anymore after watching TNA. But at least I know in WWE there isn't going to be a 24-second match.
Yeah.
Not to say that MMA is bad. I respect those guys for what they do, you know. And, like, I couldn't get into the ring and do that. Like, that's... I don't want to have my eyeballs, like, sucked out of my socket through some weird sleeper hold I've never heard of. But, you know... But I also don't want to get kicked in the face after some guy jumped off the cage wall. Has anyone seen that video?
What video?
There's a video of like this MMA like match, and it's inside a cage, and like these guys are kind of like circling one another, and this guy like runs up the side of the cage and like does this real like Bruce Lee like spin kick to this guy's face. Guy was down. That was crazy.
I've seen that.
Like it was For Life's like avatar for like 3 months or something. And yes, I do notice those things.
Yeah, I remember that. Sometimes MMA can be good, but I'm generally not impressed with that. And if we're going into MMA, it's time to end the wrestling show.
Well, no. We're not going to go into MMA.
Yeah, well, there was one last topic that I wanted everyone's opinion on, which is the fact that, WWE apparently wisened up and they changed the name of Fatal 4-Way, which is arguably the worst fucking name for a pay-per-view in the history of history, to Capital Punishment.
Well,
with capital spelt the way that you would spell a nation's capital rather than the form of execution, by the way.
Yeah.
And
I like the name. It sounds intimidating, but, you know...
The thing is, I'll let you go on.
There's not much, unless they change the entire concept of that pay-per-view, there's not much you can do to save that pay-per-view. Because generally, I can think of maybe 4 Fatal 4-Way matches for the title that were any good. John Cena versus Shawn Michaels versus Edge versus Randy Orton at Backlash 2007. Edge versus Alberto Del Rio versus Kane versus Rey Mysterio at Survivor Series 2010. And maybe the main event of WrestleMania 2000. It's been a while since I've seen it.
That wasn't bad, mostly because it wasn't a great match, but it had a lot of force behind it, I want to say. Especially considering that was Mick Foley's swan song match, at least for a while.
Yeah.
Or so we thought, basically.
Pretty much.
At least it wasn't as bad as, let's say, Flair's, though.
Oh, Flair.
So yeah, when it comes to... I like the name, and I'm glad that Fatal 4-Way is gone, but unless they decided the format that they're going to change the name to match the city for that pay-per-view, is Capital Punishment going to work in anywhere besides DC? Unless they decide to hold the next one in, like, Ottawa or something?
I mean, go ahead.
I think it's a good idea on general principle because we don't need pay-per-views that are named just for gimmicks.
Oh, yes. That cannot be stressed.
So I think it's fine, but like I mean, it's kind of like their old kind of ones like Bad Blood or Fully Loaded. It's name, you know. I'm cool with it.
I miss all those old names because they were like, what? I miss that Backlash was the perfect name for a pay-per-view that came right after WrestleMania.
Yes, no question
Definitely.
there.
Like, it perfectly summed up exactly what was going to happen. Like, Judgment Day, I guess, you know.
Well, I don't like Judgment Day because WWE had both Judgment Day and Armageddon. The same thing.
Yeah, and I think they had that same stupid theme for them.
No, they changed the theme for Judgment Day, but they always had the same "The End Is Near" theme for Armageddon.
Oh, God.
I hated that so much.
Yeah.
And you want to know what? The sad part is, that was made solely by Jim Johnson. And for those of you who don't know, he does all the themes in WWE, but normally they hire other vocalists to do the songs. That was Jim Johnson's vocals.
Oh,
was it?
Jim Johnston
Yeah, apparently. And good Lord.
Oh, man. Is there anything else in wrestling that happened this week that we need to talk about?
Yeah, I guess we could talk about Daphne getting released.
Oh yeah,
there's two things actually. We're going to keep going on this show, ladies and gentlemen. First, I want to point out the rumor that Hogan started that he's taken over booking in TNA.
Oh Jesus!
I believe he quashed that rumor, like himself on Twitter, like.
Yeah. Hogan's left ass cheek doesn't know what his right ass cheek is doing apparently nowadays.
Well, it's because his spine is so broken, his body can't communicate with itself.
Yeah, well, either way, both his left ass cheek and his right ass cheek are still crapping out his spine. So,
but the bit of background on this, apparently Kazarni, of all people, said that, why haven't I been hired for TNA yet? And then Hogan decides to respond to it, saying, "Oh, I just took over the creative, and we just don't have any ideas for you, man." Which just sparked off a whole wave of confusion and worry because as bad as Russo is, Hogan, well, you've seen Hogan's bookings on WCW back when he still had creative control.
Oh, yes. Burying Sting in every one of their matches. Pinning Ric Flair in a match he had with Vader because neither one of them wanted to get pinned.
Well, how about he booked the first blood match between him and Flair to both people start bleeding, and it doesn't end until he pinned Flair for some strange reason.
Yeah.
You know, I'm so tired of Hulk Hogan. Someone needs to tell him to disappear. Like, seriously, just go away. The wrestling world doesn't need you anymore, Hulk Hogan. Your work here is done. Your work was done after the 80s. And, you know...
Blame Linda.
I'm not even going to blame Linda. I'm going to blame Hulk because Hulk not single-handedly, but he helped destroy a company. He did. Mm-hmm. And he tried to bury guys when he went back to his safe haven. And then when Vince got tired of him, he just came back. They were going to do the SummerSlam thing every year, where someone would have a match with Hogan.
I recall that.
They were going to do it every year, but he kept wanting to win, so Vince exonated.
Yeah. I mean, that's what happened with Shawn. Shawn Michaels basically...
Not even Shawn. Here's the only time you'll ever hear me defend Randy Orton. So it was a fucking joke he had to job to fucking Hogan.
Especially because I was at the height of the whole Legend Killer gimmick.
Oh, yeah. Imagine what it would have done for him if he would have beaten Hulk.
But no, he can't beat a 55-year-old man with fake parts.
And you know what? The only saving grace of the Shawn Michaels Hulk Hogan match was the fact that Shawn oversold everything that Hulk Hogan did.
More than that, it was the promo afterwards that buried Hogan and turned him back into a face.
Yeah.
What was the promo afterwards?
Oh, he was running down Hogan, talking about how broken down he was, and it was basically a shoot. He basically shot on Hogan, and Vince had no problems letting him.
No. What he did, he cut a very sarcastic promo. He was like, "Well, I guess I fell to the power of Hulkamania. His catch can style was just too much for yours truly to take, and I fell 1, 2, 3."
Imagine if...
Damn.
The best way I heard somebody put it is, imagine Shawn's overselling, but it's a promo rather than a match. But yes, luckily that seems to have been not true, which makes it very weird that Hogan would even say that, but there you go. It might actually end up true, and this is just Hogan trying to cover his ass so everything can still be blamed on Russo. Though, we're always going to blame Russo.
Well, that's because...
Yeah, we'll blame Russo until the day we die. We'll blame Russo until the day Russo dies. Then maybe we'll forgive him.
And the other thing we need to talk about before we head on out of here is the fact that Daphne, our one of our favorite knockouts in TNA, was released, but she is not standing down. She's not going to cry about it. No, she's just going to file a workers' comp claim. I don't think it's a lawsuit at this point, but she's filing for workers' comp because of the injury given to her by Rosie Lotta Love.
Oh,
And I do think Keefus covered this on his new show. We do have a couple new shows. Bigger than pro wrestling.
Hey, I have a question about that show, though. Is it strictly going to be about music, or is it just the stupidity in all life?
No, it's gonna be about mostly pop culture stuff.
Anything that comes off faker than pro wrestling and pop culture, basically.
Yeah. Pretty much.
Yes. Watch the video and realize the phenomenon that is Rebecca Black and her song Friday.
It's fucking Friday, guys. Actually, it's Saturday, but...
Well, I would like to say, I saw her do an acoustic performance of this.
It was bad.
It sucked, but then afterwards they had an interview with her where she sang the Star Spangled Banner. Why is she using auto-tune? Because she didn't sound bad singing that song. Her voice is still annoying to me, but I can understand if she hadn't have used auto-tune, I could understand why people would think she was a good singer.
My question is, why did she get special effects advice from the people who do sci-fi movies?
Ooh.
Seriously. Rebecca, if you want to know more about Rebecca frickin' Black, just watch the video.
I'll say one thing, though.
Guys, I think it's time to end it.
Yeah, because we're going off. This is rapidly approaching last night's thing, where it just broke down into fucking chaos.
I could just hear the mad CZW fans shouting at us to end it.
So taking some advice, I'd like to say I'm the Revolver Man.
I'm No Leaf Clover.
I'm Mr. War Machine.
And I'm Christopher Says, and
wait. No, we forgot something.
I was just going to say that after Christopher Says was finished doing it. And I was going to say, and we're going to end the show talking about what gets more screen time of than Jay Lethal.
Okay, so let's do... God damn.
I would like to go first if you don't mind.
Okay.
Free?
Rebecca Black gets more screen time than Jay Lethal.
Oh.
Trent Beretta gets more screen time than Jay Lethal. How sad is that?
Ooh.
Anybody else got one?
Well, the very fact which Dolph Ziggler thought very important to tell us all, that John Morrison is not in fact a girl, gets more screen time than Jay Lethal.
And looks like I'm going to have to finish with my zinger. Superstars is getting more screen time than Jay Lethal.
On that bombshell, we're going to end for tonight, folks. Hope we didn't bore you too much. Have fun editing this one, CMG. See you later, guys.
Sucker.
And good luck. And I gotta go because